Hello, everybody, and welcome to a special edition of the Nick Watkins Show. I'm Nick Watkins, joined today by number one fan of the channel and frequent contributor Grant Thompson, and first time guest on the podcast, Melo Cilia. Guys, welcome to this special edition. Thank you for being here. Today, we are going to be giving our predictions and breakdown of the 2026 NBA playoffs. We are recording this on Friday ahead of the two playing games between the Hornets and the Magic and the Suns and the Warriors. So we don't actually know who the 8 seed is going to officially be. However, all due respect to those teams, it's not going to make too much of a difference. So let's just go ahead and give our quick predictions for who's going to win the Friday games. Guys, do you have I think we all have the Hornets winning, right?
I have the Hornets winning.
Yes, sir. Hornets.
Okay, so you have the Hornets, and then we don't want to spend too much time on this. I have the Warriors winning tonight.
Honestly,
Bro, you're delusional.
it's a coin toss.
No, bro. Nick is glazing, bro. He's delusional.
I'm gonna go Suns, but I wouldn't be surprised if the Warriors won.
All right, we went through that nice and easy. So we'll start with the Eastern Conference. The Detroit Pistons won the conference. They are the 1 seed, going to be taking on, we all think, the Charlotte Hornets. So we'll start with Grant. Let's hear the breakdown and prediction for this series.
I think it's going to be a fun series, first of all, just because there's a lot of bad blood between these two teams. Obviously, there was that massive fight a couple of months ago. I wouldn't be surprised if it goes to 6, just because the Hornets, they could really get hot from 3. But I want to say Pistons in 5. Just I trust the Pistons way more, and I think they got this pretty easily. I'm going to go Pistons in 5.
Melo?
Yeah, no. I also have Pistons, but I have them in 6 just because I feel like the Hornets played really bad against the Heat, and they still won that game. So I feel like there's still a lot more to be proven with like LaMelo Ball, Con Knipple. Con Knipple went like 0 for 6. LaMelo Ball had 30 points on 30 shots. Like, I think the Hornets are a lot better than what they showed, and they still got it done. So I think it'll be competitive.
Yeah, I think it's definitely going to be a fun series. If it's the Magic, I think Pistons in 4. But the Hornets, they have some fun players. It will be their first playoff series, so you don't expect too much from them, but you expect them to put up a fight. But I think we're all taking the Pistons here. And they would face the winner of the 4-5 matchup, which is the Cleveland Cavaliers and the Toronto Raptors. I think we're just going to stay in this order. So, Grant, how do you feel about this series?
Honestly, I think the same as the last one because realistically, I want to go Cavs in 5, but it could go to 6. Um, Honestly, I don't know much about the Raptors. I don't really watch them that much. Uh, but I know Harden's like historically a playoff choker, but in the first round, I think he's usually fine. I'm just gonna go. I guess telling me Cavs in 5. It could go to 6, but I wanna say Cavs in 5.
Yeah, bro, I got the Cavs in either 4 or 5. I mean, like Harden's a playoff choker, but usually in the first round he's good. He only chokes when it actually matters, like in conference finals games. So I think Harden was a great addition for the Cavs, but that's a little off topic. But I have Cavs in 4 or 5.
That's You guys are saying it's a lot. It's not going to be that close. I'm going to agree with the Cavs. With this kind of, I guess, because this Raptors like core hasn't been to the playoffs. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I don't think they've been like to the playoffs like this.
I think they made it a couple of times.
Well, with this current group of like Ingram and Barnes and
Not with Ingram, with Barnes a couple of times though.
all right. Well, I'm
Hey, I need
still
to add one thing, bro. I
yeah.
feel like the Cavs are gonna be like even better just because of the fact, bro, the Raptors are gonna have to start calling Murray Boyles or Scotty Barnes at center. Like, bro, they don't have a center. Like, that's why another reason I feel like the Raptors are gonna do so bad.
Then they got Jakob Poeltl and Mamu.
He has back issues. He's injured,
Oh,
or he's like lingering. He's not gonna play much,
I was gonna play Mamu the whole time then.
and I don't like that against
So we're
Jared
thinking
Allen
like
or
a
Evan
big
Mobley,
Jared
bro.
Allen series.
Maybe I feel like Mobley more so because Allen's just pick and roll big, but yeah.
Well, I'm taking the Cavs. I'll take them in 6 games. But I feel like the majority of the wins for Cleveland would not be competitive. But I'll go six games, and that's the 1 and the 8 and the 4 and the 5. Next, these two matchups of the last two matchups of the first round for the East, I feel like are going to be a lot more competitive and probably a lot more entertaining based on the really the bad blood between these teams. The New York Knicks are the 3 seed. They'll be taking on the Atlanta Hawks. The Hawks are the 6 seed because they decided to rest their starters on the final day of the year, and they ended up losing the 5 spot because of the Raptors win. So we've gone over that, but Atlanta has now put themselves in this position because of their decision. They're going to have to take on the New York Knicks in the first round. These teams have matched up in the playoffs before. No Trae Young in this one. I'm sure Knicks fans are going to be excited about that. It's the Knicks and the Hawks. Grant, take us away on this one.
Honestly, I don't think this is going to be close either, because the reason why the Hawks did so good at the end of the season, their schedule was so easy. Like they played against so many injured teams. It's like you look at that crazy win streak they had like a month ago. It wasn't like legit. I don't think the Hawks are like a legit 5 seed. I'm gonna go Knicks in 5.
Yeah, bro, I'm gonna have to agree. Like, I always feel like in March you can't look at the NBA the same. Like, it's half of them are like literally just a bunch of Bronny James. It's a bunch of G League players. So, um, no hate to Bronny James, but the NBA in March isn't competitive. So I agree that that win streak was pretty fraudulent. And I'll go Knicks in 4. Actually, I really don't believe. So yeah, I don't believe in the Hawks.
Yeah, I mean, when I did the hockey episode with Noah, the thing that was coming up all the time was experience versus non-experience. And in most of those matchups, we picked the player or the teams that had the more experience. And in this one, I don't think it's a contest of who has more experience in recent playoffs. I think the Knicks are going to take this pretty easily. I'm gonna go five game series. It just feels like I know they say this every year about the Knicks, but this kind of feels like they're here, they're ready to compete, ready to win. And I think they're going to have a pretty easy time with the Hawks in the first round. They could do something crazy, but Atlanta does feel like one of the weaker teams in the conference. But we'll see how it goes. But I'm taking the Knicks in 5, and then the Celtics will host the winner of the first playing game, the Philadelphia 76ers. First question I have is what's Embiid's status look like?
I was about to say, bro, is he playing? I heard he needed surgery, but is he gonna play through the playoffs and then get surgery or what?
Grant, do you know?
I don't even know, to be honest. But even if he does, it's probably not gonna be the same, right? So
Yeah.
I look I'm gonna go every single series for the East in the first round. I think maybe 5 games. I feel like I look
All right.
still.
Well, it's good we know that what isn't going to happen in the East. So, thank you for that prediction. But no, on a real note, yeah, I gotta agree. I think it'll be a 5 game series though.
I maybe because of how, kind of well they performed in the playing game. I definitely don't think they're gonna win, but I can see them putting up a good fight against Boston. But at the same time, it is Boston, and this is the team that's been to the finals multiple times. They won the finals a couple years back. So I'm taking Boston. I'm going to take them in 6 games, but I think the first 3 are going to be competitive, and then it's not going to be as such in the latter half of the series.
One thing that I need to mention is, bro, when Boston played last year against the Knicks and they lost that series, like I feel like people just kind of forget about that. So I'm gonna change my prediction to 6 because I feel like Boston is sort of getting overhyped right now, even though I probably have them as one team that's gonna make it far. But yeah,
Let me ask you guys this though: What do the Sixers need? What like if the Sixers were to win this series, how would that happen?
I mean, they
it
would have.
won't.
Let's hypothetically.
I mean, they would need to come back fully healthy first of all, number one, and then to the way that the Knicks shut down the Celtics in the late towards down the stretch last year. They have to do that same thing, and I don't think they have the defensive talent to do that. I don't think
Yeah,
they do.
they don't have guys like OG Anunoby or Mikal Bridges, even Mitchell Robinson to a lesser extent. They just don't have that. Honestly, I feel like if the Sixers find a way to pull it out, Maxi's gonna have to average like 35 a game. Edgecombe's gonna have to be a legitimate second option, which is kind of crazy to ask from a guy like Edgecombe at this point in his career. But I just feel like it's gonna have to be their backcourt going crazy, and then serviceable play from a guy like Andre Drummond.
Yeah, I definitely think that they're gonna have to win on the offensive end, but they'll probably have to do that every game. So that's why we're picking the Celtics. But I wouldn't be necessarily surprised if it was like more competitive. I think this is probably going to be the most competitive series out of the four from the Eastern Conference. But we all picked the favorite to win. Now, this is where it could get a little bit mixed up, but the first matchup is the Pistons and the Cavaliers to, what is it? Northeast? Is that the division? Northeast? No.
Central,
Central.
Central Division. Yeah.
Basketball divisions are so weird. The Pistons and the Cavaliers are playing each other according to our predictions. So, Grant, what do you? This is probably a little bit more juicy compared to the first round matchups. This one's a little bit better.
I want to say Pistons in 6. And I really think the X factor for this series is James Harden. If we get, if he doesn't choke, Cavs could, I think they could take it to 7 or even win. But I don't think they get like a really good series out of James Harden, especially with how good the Pistons are defensively. I don't think D Mitch and Mobley are enough. I think Cade's gonna go off this playoffs. I think Cade's gonna be like one of the best players in the game this playoffs. And I'm predicting Pistons in 6. I'm really high on the Pistons.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not as high on the Pistons. I'm not gonna lie. I just feel like their offense gets really stagnant, and Cade Cunningham isn't perfect. He's gonna have an off game or maybe even two throughout that series. But I will say I still have the Pistons winning just because of the fact that the Cavs, after they traded away DeAndre Hunter, I felt like they really got rid of any big perimeter defenders. Like they brought in a guy like Keon Ellis, but I mean, I don't know. I just don't trust that as your perimeter defense.
The Pistons, they're not like in the Spurs where they have like no experience. They have experience, and if they had like none, then I wouldn't want to pick them, but they do. So I'm gonna pick the Pistons. I'll take them in 6 games. I agree. I think James Harden is gonna have to either play well for them to win, or if he doesn't play well, then it'll be a lot easier for the Pistons. But they just seem like a really well-rounded team. They seem like the team that's kind of built for this series against a division rival, a team you've seen a lot of, where you're going to need great performances. And because you know each other so well, you're going to need just willpower at the end of the day to win the series. And the Pistons seem like the type of team that has that in their DNA. So I'm taking the Pistons. I'm taking Detroit in 6 games to advance to the conference finals. And they will face either the Knicks or the Celtics. This is a really good series. If this does end up happening, I will be very excited to watch it. This is a really interesting one. How do you feel about the Knicks and the Celtics?
I want to say Celtics in 7. I think this one goes to 7. I think, I think the Celtics are scouting the Knicks throughout the entire year just because they really got shut down last year, even before Tatum got hurt. I think this is the team the Celtics are watching in film room the most. And honestly, I think the Celtics are ready. I think Tatum's looks pretty good, like considering the injury. I take Celtics in 7.
I'm not gonna lie, I'm pretty torn between these two teams just because of how like convincingly the Knicks beat the Celtics last year. Even when right before Tatum got hurt, I mean, what was it, a 3-1 series? Like that's pretty convincing. So I think I'm gonna take Celtics in 7 just because of how good Jalen Brown has been this year. But I really wouldn't be like honestly, this is the type of series where it's such a toss up. I wouldn't be surprised if the Knicks somehow won it in 6 games or something.
If you did this in a simulation 100 times, it might come out 50-50. Like this is super, super close. You have these, like the Pistons and the Cavs, these are two division rivals that have seen a lot of each other and know each other pretty well. And I think that this series is going to bring out the best in both teams. And at the end of the day, this is playoff basketball, and when it comes to the postseason in any sport, it's how good is your good, and I think that the Celtics good is better than the Knicks good. I think it's going to be really close. I can see most of, if not all, the games being clutch games going down to the wire. I'm taking the Celtics in seven, just because of their championship experience. I could also see the Knicks winning, but the Celtics have that experience where when the game is getting down to the late stages and you need to rely on past experience to know what you have to do. The Celtics know what it takes to win, and I'm taking the Celtics to win this one. But it is like you guys are saying, it's gonna be really close. Let's talk about this
On
series
to
some
the
more.
bet.
I mean, this is a really good one. What do you think is like the best matchup in this series?
What do you mean, like between players?
Or just players or like just any aspect of the game. Like what do these
I
teams
just
match up well?
feel I don't know. I have a bad feeling just because of how good of an offensive rebounder Mitchell Robinson is. And I'm sorry, but Vucevic, Kata, like I do not like how they're gonna look against Mitchell Robinson. So I feel like the big matchup is actually pretty favorable towards the Knicks.
I want to see if the wings on the Knicks can shut down uh the perimeter on the Celtics again like they did last year. That's what I'm most interested by.
Yeah, no, I was just thinking about it too. I just remember the one play. I forgot who it was, but I just remember Mikal Bridges ripped someone in like the clutch moments of the game, and I was like, "Damn, that just shows how good Mikal Bridges is." And I feel like he's become somewhat underrated ever since he's left Brooklyn.
What I'm looking at is like in these tough series, like yes, the stars are super important, but when they're not on the floor, you got to have guys that are going to keep you in the game or could even win you the game if you have a guy who's like goes off at the right time. So in terms of the bench matchup, like which bench do you think is stronger and will have more impact in this series?
Celtics.
Grant, you could go first.
Which bench? I'm gonna go Celtics. 'Cause, I mean, I don't think the Knicks are actually that deep of a team. I think they're more like starting five reliant versus Celtics. They have so many guys who could just defend and hit the wide open three. So
I
overall,
don't know, man. I really like the Knicks depth. I mean, who do they have off the bench? Like Jose Alvarado, Jordan
I forgot
Clarkson,
I
Tyler
forgot that they
Polis,
got I forgot actually that they got Alvarado.
Landry Shamet. Like that's another guy on their team.
I mean,
Um,
Damn it. Bro.
nah, I Miles McBride even they have really good guard play off the bench, but not as much as far as big play if they start Mitchell Robinson.
As well, like when you think about the Celtics and you think about when they've made their final runs, because like you have guys who come off the bench, like I think Pritchard comes off the bench, right? Doesn't he?
yeah,
Or
he does.
is he in the starting line?
I think they start D White at the one, and then Pritchard's the backup point guard.
It just feels like also if you go back to Sunday when the Magic lost to the Celtics, like the Celtics didn't play anybody, and yet
Yeah,
they're
Bro,
like
the Magic are
they're
trash, bro. What do
bottom
you expect?
their bottom seven, like they rested their top eight guys. The bottom seven were like beat the Magic. And that's a team that had high expectations coming into the year. So kind of based on that, like, and those are guys who might not even play in this series. That just goes to show you how deep the Celtics are. So in terms of the bench, I'd probably take the Celtics. But man, it is really this is gonna be. I really hope that this happens. It probably will happen, but this is probably must see TV in terms of every single game. Like this feels like the type of series that could be talked about for years to come. I'm really excited for it. All right. And then the Eastern Conference Final. Have we like are we on the same page for every single one so far? I think we have the
I think
same
so.
teams.
Definitely the same
Yeah,
team.
we do.
All right, so this is that works out well. It saves us some time. The conference finals for the East, we all have the Pistons and the Celtics. This is also a very good matchup between a young powerhouse and the perennial playoff performers. Who do you have in this series to go to the finals representing the East?
I, I really, really, really want to say the Pistons. This is out of all the Eastern playoff teams, they're my favorite one. But realistically, I think the Celtics just have more experience. They have more like they have more players that I trust offensively. Versus the Pistons, like they really need Cade to just pop off and do something like historic. I feel like and be like the top 5 player in the game. Win this, which it could happen. I want it to happen because it'd be cool to see. But realistically, I just trust the Celtics so much more, and like they have so much more experience, obviously. So I'm gonna go Celtics in 7, but I really hope that the Pistons win. But realistically, Celtics in 7.
Melo, are you there, bro? There you go.
Yeah, I think.
All right, are we good? Oh, there he goes. Okay. Well, there goes Melo. He's coming back.
Yo.
Okay, there we go.
Hey, let me give my prediction. I have bro, I have Celtics in 6 just because of the fact that Jaylen Brown takes pride in playing defense, and I feel like Jaylen Brown is one of the best players in the game you could put on Cade Cunningham. And like I said, I just don't like the Pistons' offense outside of Cade Cunningham. The only thing I will say though for the Pistons that looks good is Jalen Duren is going to feast on a guy like I forgot his name, Nikola Vucevic.
I'm going to agree with Melo. I think the Celtics are going to take it in 6. It could go the full 7, but for some reason, I'm just thinking like 6 games is the vibe here. I don't think that we're saying the Pistons are a bad team at all. They're a very good team. However, the Celtics have been to the finals. They've won the finals. They know what it takes to win. And that's the reason why I picked them over the Knicks, and it's the same reason why I'm picking them over the Pistons, even more so because the Pistons really don't have that experience this late into the playoffs. The Celtics do. They come up short before, and they've come out on the right side of things before. So I'm taking Boston to advance to the finals. I think they have what it takes to win. And the Pistons definitely also have what it takes to win, but it might not be their time yet, because they haven't made it this far. It's kind of like when you're playing a video game and you're on one level and you lose, you die in the level, but you come back the next try and you know what it takes to win because you've seen it before. The Pistons are on their first try at this level so far, and they're not going to get it on the first try. But I wouldn't be surprised if the next go around we take the Pistons instead. But for this
Hopefully.
specific instance, 2026, taking the Boston Celtics, and we've agreed on everything so far. Boston in the East. Now we're going to go to the Western Conference, which could be a little bit different. It's where we might, I don't know what the word
This
is.
is where we're gonna disagree.
It's where we might disagree a little bit, and this is where the
Bro,
debate
this
might
guy
happen.
Grant is just going to glaze the thunder, bro. Like, just mute this guy at this point.
I have one hot take. I already know I have one disagreement. I'm gonna have.
Yeah, bro, just mute this guy, bro.
All right,
Just kick him off the call, please.
let's start. You guys think it's the Suns?
Yeah,
I'm
I'm
gonna
gonna
go
go Suns.
I'm just gonna go with the White.
I'm
Okay,
pretty split. I'm like 52% Suns, but I could see it being Warriors.
I can see I can see it being Warriors because like if you asked me this like before the Clipper game, I say Suns for sure. But it's not because the Suns are bad. It's because I have confidence in the Warriors. Like they played their best game since Christmas against the Clippers, and I think they have what it takes to win today. I do not think they have what it takes to beat the Thunder. I know I was joking about it earlier, but man, the Thunder are just that. The Thunder are that good. The Warriors, if like fully healthy Warriors, I think they give them a run for their money. But we are missing a lot of players. So I'm gonna take the Thunder. I'm gonna take them in 5 games. I think the Warriors win Game 4. And then Game 1's gonna be close. Game 4 is gonna be a Warriors win, and the Thunder win the series in 5.
If it's, I think no matter who plays the Thunder in the first round, I think it's a sweep, and at most one. I think one game will be close. I think it's a sweep with one close. If it's the
I'm
Warriors,
gonna have to disagree. I have Thunder and 5 within either team because I feel like with a dude like Curry, you'll probably get one game where he puts up 40, and then kind of same thing with Booker and Brooks. I'm confident those guys would be able to win one game because you will get an off game from SGA most likely. Is J-Dub even healthy?
yeah, he's healthy. But the thing is, I don't
All
even
right,
know.
well, J-Dub, I mean, not to hate, bro, but he averages 17 a game and shoots 30% from three. I'm not too worried about him. So, Yeah, I got Thunder in 5 either way. I feel like the Warriors or the Suns are good enough to give you one win.
The thing is, it really doesn't matter because like we both think the Thunder are gonna smoke whoever they play. But I feel like even
Yeah.
if you get an off game from Shea and you get 40 from Steph or from Booker, I think it's still possible the Thunder win. But that's how deep this team is. So like,
I think
I mean, it really
Yeah, it just depends on what Chet and Jada do.
if they come
yeah,
into the series like way overconfident, they might stumble on one of the games and like I don't want to say like lose it themselves, but like maybe they're up, but they keep the door open, they let the other team back into the game, and they ended up losing it late. But that's not going to happen. There's no question they're winning the series. It's just the question of is it 4 or is it 5? Maybe like a 0.1% chance it goes to 6, but we're taking the
sure.
Thunder. Um, we really don't need to be spending this much time on this series. We know what's going to happen. They will face the winner of LeBron versus Kevin Durant, the Lakers and the
Which is gonna be
Rockets.
Durant.
Yeah, I mean, this series is kind of like I know I think Reed
The
is out.
gimmick, bro.
Isn't Luca like
And
on the roster?
I don't think anyone
Nah.
knows for sure what Luca's status is, but I think we know for sure Reeves is out for this series. Um, if Luca
I
plays,
saw I saw JJ Redick said Luca's out indefinitely, so I think he's just out.
okay, so I'm gonna go Rockets in 5,
I just want to
just because
say
like
Yeah, I have to agree with that.
if the
I
Lakers
mean,
were
there's not
fully
not much to
healthy,
say.
okay, sorry. You go ahead. You go ahead. You go ahead.
I was gonna say this. I feel like there's not much to say about this one. I feel like the Rockets are gonna choke one game, but in the regular season, I actually caught the games that the Lakers played the Rockets, and something that the Lakers did was they would just blitz KD and exploit the fact that the Rockets have no shooting whatsoever, and that worked. Like down the stretch, I remember there's one game I don't think KD even shot the ball in the fourth quarter, but I still think even with that, LeBron alone is not enough to really make this series competitive in any way. So I would still take the Rockets in 5.
Yeah, I feel like one thing is though, like, yeah, the Rockets aren't great shooting, but if you put AD, Reed Shepard, and Jabari Smith, I'm pretty confident in that shooting lineup. But I feel it's more so the fact that KD doesn't know how to read a double team. I feel like that was the biggest thing from their regular season matchups. And honestly, that's why I feel like this game or this series will be in 5, but I feel like it could be 6 if KD just kind of plays like crap and just turns the ball over because he doesn't know what to do and gets doubled.
I just want to say this might be like I have like I don't know what it is. Maybe it's I don't like the Rockets in general, but I just feel like they're the most fraudulent team in like of the good teams. If the Lakers were fully healthy, I'm taking the Lakers to sweep. Unfortunately, they caught a bad break and they are not healthy. So I'm taking the Rockets in 5 games.
I feel like it would go to 6 if they were. I take Lakers in 6
I
if they're
really
fully
don't
I
healthy.
like the
can't take it
Rockets. I
either,
think
bro.
the Rockets totally lucked into this matchup. If they were to face any of the other top 6, I think they lose it, and it's not even a competition.
Because like if you watch the games that they played, I think JJ Redick had the Rockets down with that. Like the way that they just blitzed KD. Like if you watch those games, they shut them down. But
I mean,
I think it goes to 6.
bro, am I crazy to say it's partly because Katie doesn't know how to read a double team, and then partly because he just doesn't like or trust his teammates, so he doesn't want to give up the ball.
I mean, it could be that. I mean, there definitely are those issues, and that. Do you think we're gonna see like something like that? Because when you're in the playoffs, you're in the heat of things, and what you are, like who you are, is gonna come out. Like when you get squeezed, what's inside is gonna come out. And are we gonna see like negative stuff from the Rockets, or do you think it's not gonna be an issue?
I think we're gonna get a bad KD series, but I think the Rockets are gonna still win convincingly.
It's a common expression, bro. It's a
Nah,
common
yeah, I'm gonna
expression.
have to agree. Um, no, on a real note, yeah, I just feel like we're for sure gonna get a game or two where KD just gets super frustrated at Shengun because Shengun takes stupid threes or just flops and doesn't play defense. So I could definitely see the Lakers taking a game or two, but they've never been known for their defense, and then they lost their 2 best players on offense. So it'll be a quick series, bro. We don't need to talk about this
You're right.
anymore.
We spent way too much time on the first two. The the next one You know what? Let's just go to we'll save the best for last. So the Spurs and the Trailblazers. Is there really anything to talk about for?
I think I think this is gonna be. If I said a single sweep yet, I think this is my first sweep. Usually, I like to give at least one game.
Wow, I
I
expected.
said I said the Thunder sweep. I think the Spurs and the Thunder both sweep their first round matchups.
Feels about right. I mean,
Like
the Blazers are just
Um,
they're not. Maybe it's not their time yet. I
yeah,
mean, they definitely still could be. Like they could be better down the future or in the future down the road. But it's not their time yet. Spurs in four.
another year of development for Denny, and if they like trade for another All Star, then they could be good. But right now, I just don't see this team doing anything.
You think this is gonna
yeah,
be
I'm gonna.
a little like I don't know, you guys probably aren't gonna get this, but when Shohei Ohtani played his first like postseason game, he went like everyone was like waiting to see what he would do, and he went nuclear. You think this is Wembanyama's
Oh
Ohtani
yeah, I
moment?
think I think Wemby's going to be a whole different animal in the playoffs. Just the way he takes the All Star game serious, the way he takes the Olympics serious. Like I think we're gonna see something crazy in these playoffs.
Yeah, I could give a quick take on it. I'm kind of surprised because of how much in common Grant and Denny Avdia had that he didn't take the Blazers. But no, I'm gonna have to go Spurs in 4 or 5 games. Nah, real no, I'm gonna have to take the Spurs. I'll take the Spurs in four. I don't believe in the Blazers.
No disrespect to Portland, but they're going up against a juggernaut. So we'll take the Spurs in four. Um, this next one, we'll let Grant go first because we're gonna get a clip out of this. The Nuggets and the Timberwolves, the three and the six. These teams have met in the playoffs before, and it really feels like whenever they meet, it's very entertaining, very close. So Grant, go ahead and give your prediction on this one.
All right, this is one of my hottest takes. Everyone's saying this series is going to be close. I'm going Nuggets in five. Edwards has been pretty bad these past few weeks. First, the Nuggets have been at their best. These teams they have history. The Nuggets lost to them a couple years ago. They have this team scouted out. I don't think this is close. And then down the stretch, the Nuggets are just so much better. We saw it on Christmas. I got Nuggets in five. I don't think this is much of a series.
I'm gonna have to disagree. I actually have the Wolves winning this in seven, just because of the fact that I really like who they have. I mean, Rudy Gobert has looked great. I feel like that's a good guy to have in the paint down there. Jaden McDaniels is still out there. That's a good guy that you could throw on. I mean, I don't know if you want to put him on Jamal Murray necessarily, or you want to put DiVincenzo on him. But I just feel like the Wolves have really good perimeter defense, and I feel like Edwards can go nuclear. I don't know. I didn't really like what I saw last year from the Nuggets when they lost to the Wolves, and I'm gonna take the Wolves in seven.
I I kind of want to take Minnesota, but I feel like I feel like I'm gonna take Denver, and I do think this one's gonna be close. I'm gonna take the Nuggets in 7 games because because of past history and like I said, whenever these two teams meet, it always feels like it's close. I think most of, if not all, these games are gonna be close, but in the end, I think the Nuggets are just destined to do more down the road, and I think Minnesota's gonna put up a good fight. It just won't be enough to beat Jokic specifically. I think he's gonna have a great series. So I'll take Denver, take them in 7 games, and I think game seven goes to overtime. Whenever it's like super close, I always say it's game seven in overtime. Taking the Nuggets in seven. This is the first time we disagree. We're 33 minutes in. We've gone through basically all the matchups already. This is the first time we've had a split, a deviation in our picks. So we'll start with the one that we're set on, so we can just keep it together. The Thunder and the Rockets. Um, Personally, I do not think this is going to be close whatsoever. And I'm not like the biggest Thunder fan, and I will say more about that. But I, I, my dislike of the Rockets is way more than my dislike of the Thunder. And I also think the Thunder is a much better basketball team. I'm taking the Thunder. I'm taking them in 5 games.
I'm gonna agree, just because I would say four. The only reason why I'm saying five is because that opening night game, the Rockets, they took them to double overtime. I think they're gonna end up taking one game from the Thunder. I don't think this is that close. So it'll be cool, KD versus Oklahoma City.
Oh
So
yeah, that is a good matchup.
that's a really cool storyline. Um, but I don't think it'll be that close to this series. I'm gonna go with Thunder in 5. Pretty convincing series in my opinion.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to agree. I'm gonna go Thunder in 5. I just feel like even last year in the playoffs, the Thunder underachieved in certain series and they still ended up winning. And I feel like this can very well be one of those series where it's like one of the guys might have played bad, like Shea. Probably not Shea. Shea will most likely play good, but more so J-Dub or Chet don't show up at all, and then they somehow get it done in 5. And you just look at the series like, how the heck did they make that happen? So yeah, I also have Thunder in 5.
Okay, so we'll we'll go back to Melo for you have the Wolves and the Spurs. 'Cause or no. Yeah, you have the
Yeah.
Wolves. So we'll start with you because you are the only one who have the Wolves. How do you think this series is going to go from your for your matchup?
Yeah, like I said, I really like the Wolves just because I mean I didn't even mention Julius Randle earlier. They're kind of maxed out on what their roster is gonna be, but I feel like there's just a lot of continuity there. Like this team has went to the conference finals for 2 straight years. Like they just have so much depth. They have DiVincenzo, Nas Reed, Julius Randle, Jaden McDaniels, just all these guys I feel like are great pieces. But that being said, I still like the Spurs in this series. I'm gonna go Spurs in 6.
Okay. Yeah, I mean the Wolves are a good team. Kind of feels like they're gonna have a very tough road because even if they win this series, if they beat the Nuggets, they're gonna get the Spurs, and if they beat the Spurs, they're gonna get the Thunder. And those are the three best teams in the West, arguably in the NBA. So yeah, very tough road for the Wolves to get there. But as for myself and Grant, we have the Spurs and the Nuggets. This is a very intriguing series if it were to happen. So Grant, let's hear your pick.
All right, this is probably the closest. This is the most I'd have to think about a series. I think this is probably a hot take. I'm assuming this is a hot take. I'm actually gonna go Denver in this series in 7. So I watched a couple weeks ago the Spurs and the Nuggets played, and it went to overtime. And down the stretch, the Nuggets just looked way more fluid. They looked way more ready. And I could just see the experience. Jokic is still the best player in the game, best offensive player in the world. I trust them so much more. I just don't think the Spurs are ready yet. It's year 1. Nobody goes that far in year 1 in the playoffs. And this is a hot take, but I think the Nuggets make the conference finals this year.
I also am very, very torn on this because we've been discussing this. On one hand, the Spurs are a very, very good team, and there's no doubt that they will be a good team for many years to come, maybe even like one of the greatest teams in recent history. But we've been discussing is every team needs a canon event to like give them kind of a slap in the face to let them know where they went wrong if they did go wrong so that they can learn from that mistake and when it comes up again the next years they will know um, how to deal with that. And to be honest, as to this exact moment right now, I'm still not sure who to take in this one because on one hand, it kind of feels like logically you want to take the Nuggets because of what I just described, having the Spurs not having that experience and this Nuggets team having won the playoffs here or the finals. But I really like the Spurs. I think I'm gonna go San Antonio. I think I'll take them and definitely in 7 games for sure.
100%.
But I think I'll take San Antonio.
And I think this is the best series in the playoffs. Like I think this is the ultimate passing the torch from Jokic best in the league, possibly Wemby being the next year. I think this is an instant classic. This series.
Let's. I want to hear Melo's take on this.
Hey,
Melo,
one thing I have to add, bro. The Magic are beating the Hornets by 20 after the first quarter. It's like 16 to
by how
37 now.
much?
By 20 in the first quarter. It's 16 to 37 with 2 seconds left in the first.
Oh my gosh.
Wow. Okay.
15 to 38 actually. I got updated just right now, end of the first.
Wendell Carter with 10 points in the first quarter, and then
So
Melo.
we're not changing our pick though. We're taking the.
I'm still going Pistons in 5.
I'm still
I don't
taking
think
the. I think the.
Doesn't matter. The outcome's going to be
yeah,
the
it doesn't
same.
matter.
The
Would it be
Pistons.
crazy to say the Hornets are gonna?
It's
We
it's
don't.
gonna be a
We're
sweep for
well
sure.
past that, but that's a good update to have.
Yeah.
Mel, I want to hear your. Let's say that it was the Nuggets and the Spurs. Who would you pick out of those teams?
I 100% have the Spurs just on the fact that, yeah, people say Wemby's inexperienced, but I feel like people, especially prior to the season, they just underrate how great Wemby is. Like that people, I mean, I wasn't gonna think they were gonna be a 2 seed winning 60 games, but when people were telling me they were gonna be a play-in team, I was like, all right, like that's just crazy. I thought they were gonna be like a 3 or a 4 seed, and they ended up being way better. And I don't know, I just feel like Wemby's already had experience playing professionally in France for so long, but obviously that's a whole different beast than the NBA playoffs. But I don't know. It's just I feel like Wemby is just one of those guys where like this might be crazy, but you look like Jordan or Kobe, and you always hear about their mentalities. I feel like Wemby has that in him. Like bro, what type of guy would go out on the podium like after an interview and be like, "Hey, I think I'm MVP because we dominated the Thunder," and just straight up say that. Like he's out for blood, and I just feel like Wemby will find a way to make the conference finals.
I just want to respond to that. I 100% agree with what you're saying about Wemby. Like, that's my favorite player. I think he also has that mindset, and I think he's going to be really good these entire playoffs. If I think he'll be even better than he was in the regular season. But you got to keep in mind, it's not just him; it's almost this entire team's first playoffs. First time I made the playoffs in so long, and I don't think that's enough to beat the Nuggets yet. Like, I don't disagree with you completely. I actually agree with you more than I disagree. But I just think like if almost your entire core hasn't played a playoffs yet, I don't think that's enough to beat like a smoking hot fun like Nuggets team that's been rolling these past few weeks. That's why I still got to go with Denver.
I could agree with that, but I'm still gonna take the Spurs just on the fact that I feel like this is another point. I feel like Stephon Castle is such a perfect player to throw on Jamal Murray, and then Wemby's such a perfect player to throw on Jokic. And I just feel like the Nuggets have an average to below average defense, and that like I don't know. I have a great feeling about the Spurs this year.
I think it's also a question of there's no doubt that Wemby is that guy, and there's never been anybody like him. He's like one of one, and there's no doubt that at he will be that guy for sure. The question is he that guy right now? Does he have what it takes to defy the odds and win this series with like basically no experience um against a really good Nuggets team? Does it come down to does Wemby have it in him to I guess win this? I don't want to say win this series by himself because both his entire team is really good, but you gotta feel like at some point it's gonna come down to
You mentioned
Wembanyama.
Hawks.
What do you say?
I said like we didn't even mention Fox, and like that's not much playoff experience. I mean, he just got bounced by Steph and the Warriors, but that's still another player that's what I mean with the Spurs. Like we don't even mention it, and like given the fact that Keldon Johnson and Devin Vassell were the best players on their team 2 years ago, 3 years ago, and now they're just like role players off the bench or like fringe starters. Is just, I don't know. It's kind of crazy to me. I just feel like the Spurs have everything going right for them outside of the experience, obviously.
It's also kind of crazy because we're talking about this series with the Nuggets and the Spurs, and we like feels like we've barely mentioned Jokic. He was like probably the best player in the league.
Yeah.
Um, it's I guess it's kind of a question of like the Nuggets are the established team, and you know what you're getting from them. But the Spurs is gonna be their first real test. You don't know what you're getting. It's kind of like picking the Spurs is gambling that they're gonna be who we all think they can be. But picking the Nuggets is like the safe pick. But for Jokic, I mean, what impact do you think he's gonna have on this series?
I mean, he's even though I think we all agree Wemby's the best defensive player in the game right now. I think even with that, he looked like he knows how to get to his spots and get inside and use his weight advantage to really get within a couple of feet of the basket. He still can put up Jokic numbers even with Wemby guarding him. Like sure, there's clips of Wemby swatting him, which no one else could do that besides Wemby, but he's still gonna put up Jokic numbers. Like I don't think you can take Jokic out of the game.
Yeah, I'm gonna agree with that just based on the fact that like Jokic, like Wemby's more athletic, bigger than him, all this other stuff, but Jokic like never. Who is Jokic really more athletic than that he plays against? The main thing Jokic has is strength, and he might be able to muscle Wemby and post him up a little bit. But and I still agree. I think Jokic is gonna have a great series. It's just I don't like Denver's defense. That's a big reason I'm picking them to lose this series.
I would agree
If they
if
go this, 'cause I think the Wolves are gonna be there anyway. But yeah.
I would agree if the Nuggets do lose this, I think it's gonna be because their defense.
Let's go in kind of let's stay on this game, but we talked about Wembley, we talked about Jokic. For either team, because Grant, you have the Nuggets, Melo, we have the Spurs. Just in this hypothetical, if it's those two guys, we expect them to play great. But if there's one player who's going to make the biggest difference aside from those guys in this series for their team, who's that player? Who's that player going to be?
For me, it'd be for the Nuggets.
Yes.
I'm pretty confident we'll get a good Jamal Murray series just because he always rises in the playoffs. Uh, Honestly, I think it's Aaron Gordon. Just because he's coming off an injury, and last year he was so good in the playoffs. They almost beat the Thunder. They took the Thunder to 7. I think Gordon was a massive part in that. I think Gordon's the X factor, just because he's coming off injuries and he's kind of a question mark. So yeah, I'd say Aaron Gordon's our X factor here.
This is kind of a boring pick, but I'm gonna have to say it's Jamal Murray, just based on the fact, like I said. I mean, right now I'm kind of glazing the Spurs, but I feel like I said, Stephon Castle is one of the best perimeter defenders in the league and the type of guy you'd want to put on Murray. And if Murray was to have an off series, it would be because a guy like Stephon Castle is guarding him. So I feel like if Murray averages more than 25 a game, or at 25 a game, I feel like the Nuggets will probably win that because Jokic will probably do similar things, but if Murray kind of puts up a stinker, the Nuggets are dead in the water completely because there goes half their offense basically with the 2-man game they run. And like I said, their defense already isn't good. So I got Jamal Murray as the X factor basically.
Who is like the main shooter for San Antonio?
Probably a guy like Vassell.
Like
Good
like
spot up. Shoot
pure
probably
like spot up?
50%.
Oh, for a spot up, it's Vassell, but for like a shot creator on like the outside, it's definitely
Okay,
Fox.
spot up. So I think that in this series we're getting these like two like titans going up against each other. At some point there's gonna be a moment where they're not gonna be able to create that offense and they're gonna pass the ball to a player who's wide open and they're gonna have to make that shot to probably like win the game or give them the advantage. And it's either gonna be Vassell. Is MPJ even healthy?
MPJ,
Yeah. No, wait, no, he's not. That's not even on. Wait, who am I thinking of?
Cam
Cam
Johnson,
Johnson. Cam Johnson. They get them no because they got traded for each other. That's why I'm confused.
which the last 2 weeks he's been serviceable.
No, no,
Horrible
no.
start.
Braun. That's their shooter.
Yeah.
It's gonna be
Let's
up
say
to
Cam
either
Johnson.
Vassell or Braun to make a huge shot to give them the advantage in a game. And I think whoever makes that shot, that's gonna be. I don't want to say that's gonna be like the key, like the big moment, but it's going to be a big moment. In one of the earlier games, there's going to be a big shot made to help one of the teams win. Whoever makes that shot is going to be the key underrated contributor in this series. All right. That was this is a
Oh,
really
one thing I
entertaining.
will say, the Nuggets. Feel like we got to mention a guy like Peyton Watson. He's
Oh,
just
yeah.
completely exploded this year.
He's coming off an
And
injury
yeah,
too. The reason why I don't say he's an X factor is because honestly, I don't really know much about him. I know the Nuggets were good without him. That's why I didn't
yeah.
say him. But yeah, he could be another spark off the bench. Yeah, but the reason why I say Aaron Gordon is because like we know what he can do, and you know what he's done last year, how they almost beat the Thunder without a bench, and I think that's because Aaron Gordon stepped up. That's why I say Aaron Gordon. But yeah, Peyton Watson could be another really nice addition to how good he's been. When he was healthy, he was really good. He was like a step in for Aaron Gordon.
All right. So we all have the Thunder hosting this series, but we all have different teams in
Yeah,
this series. Um,
but you two got the Spurs, and I
no,
got the
Melo has the
Nuggets.
Wolves.
No, I have the Spurs beating the Wolves.
Oh, oh, right, because it's not the right.
Yeah.
Sorry. Okay, so since Grant is the outlier, we'll go to him first.
I mean, I think I don't know for sure what you guys are gonna say, but I would easily have actually not wouldn't be like the easiest series in the world, but I think the Thunder are a tier better than the Nuggets, honestly. I think it goes to 6 just because how close it was last year, and then now the Nuggets have a way better bench than they did last year. Uh, but I'm still gonna go the Thunder and 6. They have another year of development, another year of experience. I think they even have more pieces than they had last year. I'm gonna go Thunder in 6. I don't think it's as crazy of a series as Nuggets Spurs. So yeah, Thunder in 6.
Melo?
Should I give my prediction on
Yeah.
Spurs Thunder now?
Yep.
All right, this is definitely a hot take, but I'm gonna have Spurs in 7 or honestly even 6. I don't know. I really don't like. I know he's been injured, but who's to say he's gonna look amazing in the playoffs? I don't like what I've seen from J-Dub this year at all. He just hasn't been good. He shoots 30% from three. At least this year. I know it's a limited sample size. He's been injured, but I don't know how he's gonna look in the playoffs. I'm just gonna assume he's gonna look the same. Chet. I mean, I just I don't know. I know it's regular season, but Wemby was right that the Spurs did dominate the Thunder, and I'm gonna have the Thunder losing that series. I'm gonna take 7 games. I just feel like the Thunder are definitely beatable, and that got proven this year, even to a certain extent last year with the Pacers taking them to 7, the Nuggets taking them to 7. I don't feel like either one of those series should have went to 7. So I feel like just with like I said, this is kind of Wemby glaze, but just with how good Wemby has been, Wemby I don't know. I feel like he's going to get it done.
For me, when it comes down to Thunder Spurs, I get caught in this like the chicken or the egg type cycle where it's like the Spurs dominated in the regular season and they really embarrassed Thunder in a lot of those games, like the NBA Cup and Christmas. Those are like the two biggest regular season games you can get just by themselves, and they really showed up and showed out in those games. On the other hand, you'd expect the Thunder to be ready this time around because they've seen it. These are division rivals. Well, actually, they're not in the same division, right?
No, they're not.
No, they're not. But they're Western rivals. They've seen a lot of each other. And you, Grant, you were also talking about before how, or not this episode, but before how the Thunder have been scouting the Spurs, and they know them now. They know what they have to do better this time. But I get caught in that cycle of, well, the Spurs really looked good, but you'd expect the Thunder to be ready, and it keeps going around and around and around. And at some point, you got to find a break in that to make the decision. And I think it's going to come down to Shea Gilgis Alexander. Can he step up in the heat of the moment and be the guy that everyone is saying he is? I think he will not. I do not think he's going to be good when it comes down to it. Sure, I mean, okay, there's no denying that Shea Gilgis Alexander is a
No, be
great
careful,
player.
bro. You have
There's no
secret lover in this
denying
car.
that SGA is a great player in this league, but I don't think he has what it takes to be that type of clutch performer when it comes down to it.
Why?
Why? Just because the vibes, bro. Because the vibes.
Nah,
I don't.
I think the Spurs are gonna win for a completely different reason. I just feel like you haven't seen much from J-Dub this year. He's been injured. I feel like he gets a pass. He probably won't be amazing. He'll be okay. He'll probably put up 15 to 20 a game, inefficient. And then Chet versus Wemby, we know how that matchup goes. Chet's probably going to look worse. I feel like Shea is going to have a really good series, but I don't think the supporting cast is going to be there. That's the reason why I have the Spurs winning.
I disagree because if I had the Spurs beat the Nuggets, I would still take the Thunder. You know, for the reasons why Nick said that I would say that, obviously. Uh, because the last we saw the Thunder play the Spurs, I'm pretty sure the last matchup the Thunder beat them pretty convincingly. First of all, and then also, yeah, I don't think we see teams usually make it to the finals first try. Pretty much, this is the Spurs' first real year. Pretty much, I just don't think you can beat.
Oh, 60 Wade.
Yeah, so it's been a long time.
Also, the '07 Cavs, right? I mean,
Like make the
Yeah.
playoff.
I mean, okay, here's the thing. Like, we say this, and I can agree with that. But like I said, I feel like people have been underrating the Spurs all season until now. And like I said, I feel like Wemby genuinely, if he wins like 3+ rings, he probably will be the greatest player of all time. Like if I'm an unk and one day I'm not going to be defending LeBron James or even Jordan as the GOAT if there was a guy like Wemby who is just like the best defender in the league and all of that. So like I said, I just feel like Wemby has GOAT potential, and obviously he's nowhere close to his prime yet, but I just think he's that good, and I feel like he's going to get it done.
I will say I want like the Wemby's my favorite player. Shea's my second favorite. But I will say I want the Spurs to go to the finals. Like that'd be really cool to see. I'm just saying, realistically, I don't think it's gonna happen. But I hope I'm wrong. Like I hope we see Wemby win it all this year. Like that'd be really really cool to see. I just don't think it's gonna happen yet.
It's it's uh it's gonna be extremely close. Uh, I think regardless, but I'm not. And by the way, I'm not saying that SGA is bad. I think he's like a great player, but I don't think he's that guy. I think Wembanyama is that guy, and I think he's gonna play great. He's gonna play like we expect him to play. I'm not saying SGA is gonna be bad, but if there's one specific moment where they need him, I don't know if he's gonna show up in that scenario. So I think it's gonna be close. I'm taking him in seven. The San Antonio Spurs to the finals. Grant Thompson.
I have a question for the Nick Watkins show.
All right, let's hear this.
I just don't know how you can say you don't think Shea can step up and be that guy when he's shown that last year he could step up and put up big numbers in the playoffs and be the best player on a championship team. And he's never really has he ever really like choked in the playoffs before? Like sure, some series have been closer than they should have been, but has he actually choked?
No,
Not
but
really.
just because something hasn't happened before doesn't mean that it won't. You know, and maybe I'm not saying it's gonna be the whole series. I think he's gonna have a good
I would
series, but in one specific moment, if it's all on him, I don't think he has what it takes to
I
deliver
think
in that specific moment. If it comes down to that,
I guess we'll see.
I
I'm gonna
guess we
have
will
to
see.
disagree. Uh, I feel like with Shea, it really just depends on how much his aides help him.
Yeah,
By that I mean the referees and the whistle.
I think Shea's literally like
Then
you know
that's
close
why. That's why I
third.
don't think that. And of course, you know, like it. Why would you expect anything to differ? Because he has there's a lot of calls that go for him and in his favor, and you don't really expect that to change. But
I don't
when
think he
it
can get them playoffs.
when it comes down to it,
It doesn't
like
change
in
the
a big
outcome.
moment, he's not going to be able to. When he's not going to be able to, in any moment where he can't rely on the whistle, I don't think he's as good as his. I don't know his accolades say. I mean, he definitely was. Well, I don't know. I don't know. I mean, he does get a lot of help. There's no denying that. But there's also no denying he's a great player. But I think in a specific moment, which really we haven't really seen in the postseason at least, him have to do something like that.
I think I disagree because against the Pacers in game, I want to say game five. No, 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 no. I know it was in Indiana. Uh, it was game four. They were down by double digits, and he had the team's last 15 out of their 16 points, and they came
Yeah,
down.
yeah, I remember that now.
So
I'm
he
kind of
had
talking about like Kawhi against the
Like a clutch
76ers type
situation.
play. Like not like I don't think I don't think there's no
I think
denying that he's gonna play well. He's gonna play great. But in a moment, I'm talking about a moment like that where it's like one shot. You know, the Martians have the death beam pointed at Earth. One shot, you better hit it. I don't want Shea
I want
Gilgeous-Alexander.
Iguodala.
you
I
take.
want
All right, I have
Iguodala.
a question for the Nick Watkins show.
All right, let her rip.
All right, so let's say that the aliens do have the death beam pointed at Earth.
Okay,
Are you taking Shea or Iguodala?
Shea. But
Uh,
that's unrealistic. I love Iggy.
I want Iguodala.
You know,
I'm just
technically
making.
speaking, Iguodala is a very good clutch performer.
Well, technically speaking, Shea's a pretty good
No,
clutch, but
hey, like away from all the trolling though, if we're serious about this series, I just feel like it's going to be really physical too, just because of how Wemby always plays Chet. He's always shoving him. Um,
yeah,
whether whether you agree with it or not, Dort's a defender. He hand checks people. It doesn't really get called. That's fine. Stephon Castle kind of does a little bit of the same thing. I feel like it's going to be a real physical series, and I do feel like if Shea's getting a whistle and like I said, great player, amazing player. Even if he didn't have the whistle, he'd probably still average 28 to 30 a game. But it just depends if like it's little stuff. Like I just have a memory of when the Spurs and Thunder were playing. Shea stiff armed Wemby, and Wemby was at the 3 point line, and the dude landed up under the rim because of how like physical the stiff arm was in the push off. And like if that's getting called, I feel like Shea's kind of cooked and he's not going to do as well. But if Shea's getting what he wants, if he's drawing contact, getting fouls, and the push offs aren't getting called, oh, the Spurs are cooked. Like this, it's not going to be a good series.
So let's think about this from like we're saying that like historically you can expect this. Wemby should for sure have the advantage over Chet, right?
Yeah, of course.
Is there somebody that Shea
Yeah.
has the advantage over to balance that out?
Everybody. I think he's better than I think he's a
Uh,
tier above every guard on the Spurs, if not multiple
But
tiers above.
like
but
defensively,
Steph
like what I'm
has to.
saying is like Wemby is going to attack Shea. He's going to score on Chet. Is there somebody that
There's
SGA
no
is going to
one
be able to
Shea can stiff
score
on.
over at will to
I don't think
even
there's
that
anybody who can
out?
shut down. I mean, Castle's the best guy they have, but is there anyone who could stop him from getting 25 plus
Yeah, the
at least?
refs.
Yeah, no one on the Spurs.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, there's people in black and white that could
The
stop
ones
it.
on the
It's just
court
not the
wearing black
Spurs.
and white, just yeah.
No,
I
but
thought of that too.
no.
That's
On a real
funny.
note,
Question is, will they?
like
What?
Will they stop him though?
Will they?
Yeah.
Well, it depends what the league wants.
no, but dude, honestly, there's no one Shea could just pick on. Like, I kind of hate to say this, but I feel like Chet really has no answer for Wemby, just because I like Chet a lot, and I feel like he's actually the Thunder's second best player. But
I agree.
I don't like how it looks. I feel like Chet is a little bit too nice, and Wemby, like, this guy's literally just kind of like a jerk to Chet, and there's like no NBA respect there, and I feel like that's what's gonna make the Spurs win this series. But yeah.
Do you think there's like I asked for the other series, like the Knicks and the Celtics? Do you think that like let's ask this, aside from the guys we've already talked about at length, who do you think is gonna have like the biggest impact if their team is gonna win?
For Spurs Thunder,
Yeah, for either team and or
honestly, J Dub, if he's healthy from his wrist,
I agree with that. That's who I was going to say. I was going to say, if you get J-Dub that puts up 25 a game, 50, 40, 80, whatever he averages, yeah, I have the Spurs losing without a doubt because Shea will give you 25 plus without a doubt. Um, J-Dub's good. Chet won't be great, but he'll probably still give you 15 and 10
and
even
plus
against Wemby.
they have so many good shooters on their team. At least one of them's gotta have an above average night every game. Like someone's gonna perform better than their stats. With how much depth they have. With the Thunder, they have like all 80 plus overalls in their rotation, pretty much.
Yeah. The thing is, role players do have really good games and then really bad games. So
Yeah, but they have so many to pick from. Like they're gonna get a good game out of somebody every time, pretty much.
I don't think that will happen much in the playoffs just because of the fact you kind of even see it in the play in. Even for the Warriors, that's the game that I paid attention to. A guy like Pat Spencer, who is like in the rotation playing a good amount, comes
yeah,
to
you're
the
not
play in
playing.
even, he's out the rotation. Like, I feel like a lot of those guys, even like Jared McCain, for example, a guy who is good for the Thunder when he plays, is just kind of going to be out the rotation because they're going to have a 7 to 8 man rotation, maybe 9 at most, probably 8 though. And a lot of role players that you look at, like I feel like half those guys for the Thunder, if they have 6 good guys outside of their starting five, only 3 of them will actually play.
It's it's gonna be very close. I think it's gonna be exciting. I think either way. I mean, Granite's matchup is also a pretty good one. Um, let's move on to the finals. Sorry, my phone is quite low. But what were your
So
so
y'all
Melo?
have
You had
Spurs and Celtics.
okay, so I have that as well, and Grant has the Thunder and the Celtics.
yeah.
All right, we'll start with Grant again because he differs. Um,
I
bro,
don't think I'm gonna go Thunder in 6.
Thunder
It
and
could go to
6.
7 just because the Celtics surprised me when they beat when they beat the Thunder a few weeks ago. But I'm gonna keep my prediction of Thunder in 6. I think the Thunder are the first team to go back to back in since the Warriors. So
Since
quite a
who?
since the Warriors in 2018. I think it's the first time. So I'm gonna go Thunder in 6 versus Boston, and my champions this year are the Oklahoma City Thunder.
I mean,
Well,
if it were to be the Thunder and the Celtics, I'd probably agree with you.
I just feel like if the Thunder end up losing and like not making the finals, they already beat KD, so it could be a good thing because it's pretty much a guarantee that KD will join their team next year. So it could be a good thing for the
It's like
Thunder.
a realistic thing. That's like,
Yeah, because
oh,
KD loses
yeah,
and join
yeah.
a team that
It's a joke. I get it.
yeah. No, but okay, I guess I could give my finals prediction. Um Spurs Celtics, I feel like that's a really good series.
I
And I feel
agree.
like up until about a few weeks ago, I did have a Thunder Celtics finals, and I had the Celtics probably winning that. But I'm gonna have to go with I don't know. I don't know. I think I'm gonna probably take the Spurs. I feel like if they end up beating the Thunder and they do it somewhat convincingly, I feel like the Celtics won't be much of a challenge for them, especially just because of the fact that like the Celtics don't have good defensive bigs.
I hope he's right. I want to see that happen. I just don't think it's gonna happen. But
Yeah, I mean,
I'd love to see Wemby win already this early in his career. I just don't think it's gonna happen. But
I
I
am
really hope I'm wrong.
I am coming back to the idea of canon events and like you need to lose before you can win. But if you go through Denver and you go through Oklahoma City and you survive that, then I feel like you're as battle tested as you need to be, even though you won. So, and you're like as experienced as you need to be, even though you won. And I do think it's going to be close. I'm going to go 7 game series, and I think the Celtics are the best team in the East. But I think the champion, either way, I mean, I think regardless as you draw it up, out of the top 3 teams in either conference, I think the champion is coming out of the West. And for me personally, I have the San Antonio Spurs winning the championship. We've talked all this
Yes,
about
sir.
how like you can't win it on your first go around, but I feel like that I don't know if that applies to Wemby if he can get there. Like we haven't seen anything like him before, and maybe that like prior experience doesn't apply. We'll have to see. But if San Antonio can get past Denver and then Oklahoma City, then I have no faith that they know what it takes to win, and they will end up winning the game. I think it's gonna go 7, San Antonio over Boston. Grant, if you had the Spurs and the Celtics, would you also pick the Spurs?
I mean, yeah, I agree with you. Like if you can, I don't think the argument of it being your first year really applies. If you can beat the Nuggets and the Thunder, I think you could probably beat the Celtics too. Just because I think the Celtics are worse than the Nuggets and maybe not the Nuggets, but I think they're worse than the Thunder for sure. So yeah, if the Spurs made the finals and they played Boston, I would go Spurs in 7, maybe 6, but probably 7.
I'd probably go Spurs in 6 just because of the fact that, like I said, the Celtics have looked great. Brown's gotten better for sure, but I don't know. I still just don't like how the Celtics lost so convincingly to the Knicks last year, and that's kind of somewhat the same roster they have now. So I feel like the Spurs could get them out of there in 6 if it ends up being Spurs Celtics.
So let's think of other like hypothetical finals matchups. Is there any scenario where an Eastern team would win if it's like let's just say out of the 4 teams, well, I guess Melo has the Nuggets game bounced, huh? But um, is there any scenario where Eastern team like, bro, what? Any scenario that's not like outlandish. Is there a scenario where Eastern team wins?
I think the only scenario an Eastern team wins is if the Spurs, crumble because like their core doesn't have a lot of experience. And then honestly, if Denver makes it, I don't think this would happen, but if Denver made it, I feel like they're more evenly matched with the Celtics, or if the Pistons made it. You know what I mean?
I
I
feel
think
like
that
if the Pistons made it, they could get the Nuggets out of there. But I feel like if it was the Celtics, like the thing I just keep going back to is I really don't like Vucevic at the 5 for the Celtics just because of the fact that like if you're gonna put Kata or Vucevic on Jokic in the finals, I just
okay, you're
Jokic
crazy.
is gonna average 40, dude.
Let's. I think like, is there anything else you want to talk about in as far as basketball, like in terms of the playoffs, like? Because I think that was great. Like we got 70 quality minutes of basketball talk. Is there anything else that you wanted to talk about for the playoffs?
I think this playoffs is gonna be like. I think we say this every year, but I really mean it this time. I think this is gonna be this is gonna be like a classic, just because it's Wemby's first one, and if he goes crazy and if he's like a whole different animal these playoffs, I think that's like the biggest story. Again, I think the Spurs get knocked out in the second round. If I'm wrong, and they make you guys even said they win the championship. I think if they win the championship, this is like an iconic year. Like I think this is like 2016 level. If the Spurs win already and Wemby just goes crazy.
I think regardless of like who ends up winning, I think just we're gonna get some incredible basketball regardless. And even if I don't want to say it's gonna be a letdown, but I don't think there's gonna be a letdown as far as the finals go. I don't think. I think really after the first round, I think basically every series is gonna be competitive. It's just a matter of who is able to emerge victorious at the end of the day. I think you're right, though. It is going to be a one we look back on fondly.
A good question I have is who loses the most from losing this year? Like what's a team that you
Mm.
think if they lose this year in a somewhat disappointing fashion, like their team is just done for and they're just not those guys aren't going to be on the team next year and they're going to rebuild or move in a different direction.
I kind of want to say Cleveland, like, because
Yeah,
they're
they
not
even said
they don't have like
they
the most
scored.
expectations, but like you got to wonder how much not only how much longer is James Harden going to be on the team, but how much longer he has as a player like that. I think Cleveland could definitely hurt from a loss, like a disappointing loss. But most of the teams that are like that we have going deep are young teams that are have a bright future ahead of them. So I think like Cleveland would probably be like the most disappointing loss.
And then I saw a report today
I
that
think
if
that,
that if
go
uh,
ahead,
that,
go ahead.
that if D-Mitch doesn't sign an extension with Cleveland, they're gonna look to trade him this offseason. Which obviously losing in the first round or second round, more incentive not to sign that extension.
Yeah.
So I think technically the Cavs do have the most to lose if they have another disappointing year like last year.
Yeah, I mean I'm going to go with kind of like a curveball here, but honestly I'm gonna have to say the Knicks have the most to lose just because of the fact that if they lose, let's say second round, I feel like Cat is for sure going to be out of there, whether that's a Giannis trade or something else. I feel like they are going to flip Cat, like because I feel like if the Knicks do lose, I don't think it's going to be Brunson. I feel like it's going to be Cat, and they're going to flip Cat for someone who they think will help them win more.
The thing is, the Knicks they traded all their picks. It's like they really got to be all in. Like there's no
Yeah, but one thing I've seen is that with Giannis, when they were talking about his trade demands, it was the only two teams that they would have traded him to were the Heat or the Knicks, and then I think it landed up basically only being the Knicks. And I just feel like with Giannis, with how much he's done for the Bucks, they'd trade him to the team he wants to go to, and I think he'd want to go to the Knicks over the Heat. Like I'm sorry, but no one would really want to go to the Heat right now. I feel like Pat Riley's kind of delusional. I don't know what he has going on there, but Tyler Hero and Bam Adebayo just got bounced in the play-in by Charlotte, who's getting clobbered by the Magic, who Paulo Banchero has been terrible this year. So either way, I just wouldn't see Giannis like wanting to go to the Heat.
I will say it is now almost a 30-point game.
Oh my
The Hornets have
gosh.
the Hornets have 29 points. It's about to be halftime.
How much does Lamelo have?
He hasn't scored. LaMelo has 0.
What's his shooting percentage? 0 for 10?
He
Is
is
you
0
gonna
for
play?
4. He's also only played 12 minutes, so he could have got hurt.
Oh, that'll be bad. Let's just take this question. Let's flip it around. Which team or player would have the most to gain from winning this
I
championship.
would say Wemby, but I feel like he's still no. If Wemby wins this year, that's like crazy for his legacy. Because what, he's like 22, 23. If he wins a chip against like
Yeah.
a really good team like the Thunder already, then like like Noah said, he has GOAT potential. That's a really good point in the future for if you want to argue he's the GOAT. He won when he was 23 against a really good Thunder team. I'd say Wemby is
And then
technically
beat the Celtics, who are proven.
yeah. I
Yeah, he had to
think
go through the Nuggets or the Nuggets
I mean
or
now
Wolves.
he has to beat three former champions to win the finals: the
Yeah.
Nuggets, the Thunder, and the Celtics. So yeah, he has the most to
Hon-
gain.
Honestly, I might change my answer. I'm gonna actually have to say Jokic because I feel like Jokic has been so great. But if you talk about top 10, no, like let's be real here. No one's putting him in the top 10. You could name 10 guys who are better than Jokic pretty easily. But I feel like if Jokic does get that, kind of like how Steph Curry prior to getting his fourth ring was like knocking on the door of being top 10, and then now Steph Curry, I don't know, it could be because I'm a Warriors fan. He's kind of like for sure around the 9 to 10 spot. I feel like Jokic would probably be around the 10 to 12 spot if he gets another ring. Because
I
then he has what? How many MVPs does he have? Three?
yeah, I think he has
Yeah.
three.
Three MVPs with two rings. And like, yeah, he would have he would have close to a top 10 career, even though he's not great on defense, just because of how good he is on offense. And yeah, either way, it's going to be him or Wemby, but I'd have to take Jokic actually.
I somewhat agree with Melo. Just because I think Jokic would have the most to gain right now, just because he bumps up quite a few spots on the all-time list. But I don't think Jokic has like GOAT potential. I don't think I don't think anyone's ever gonna say he's better than MJ. I just think like in the future people could say Wemby's better than Michael Jordan and LeBron. So I'd say like
Yeah,
altogether I'd say Wemby has the most just because this is like a massive milestone. But right now, like as of this year, if the Nuggets win, yeah, sure, Jokic would have the most to gain.
I have two answers. One is a completely unrealistic one, and the other is more realistic. So the unrealistic one is any of the unks who are in it right now. Like if LeBron or Steph or KD somehow won this championship, that would do like an insane amount for their legacy.
Yeah,
But that's unrealistic. But for a realistic one, I think if Oklahoma City were to win this, like I am like kind of a doubter of OKC. I don't think they're like that good. They're definitely for sure like great, but I don't think they're like that type of team. They were to win this one. They are kind of most of the way complete of established themselves as a dynasty. Like a dynasty is like you gotta have like three in a certain number of years. Like the Giants dynasty was like 3 and 5. Like that's kind of like the minimum. Um, but you got to have three basically. And if they get another one, it would be back to back, and that's two. That would be huge for not just the players like Shea, but the team as a whole. Is their argument as one of the best teams of all time? If they could cap it off with a championship, then they would be up there in terms of the greatest teams ever.
yeah. I can somewhat agree with that. I'm still gonna say Jokic has more to gain, but the other thing about the Thunder is it does more for their team even because right now, I mean, just my opinion on it, like they just locked up three guys, Chet, J-Dub, and Shea, to these super big long term contracts. And my opinion on it is like J Dub's kind of overpaid and Chet is whatever. But if they win another ring, then there's no question about it of like, oh, they made a great decision. But if they don't win another ring with this core, then it's going to kind of look bad in the long term because we know how quickly teams can change up. Like when they disappoint 1 or 2 years, if the Thunder disappoint for the next 2 years, you can bet that J Dub or Chet is probably out of there. Like 3 years from now, if they disappoint for the next 2 years.
I think one thing is for sure, this is going to be an incredible postseason, and it starts tomorrow. The actual postseason starts tomorrow, and guys, I can't wait for it. So it's going to be a lot of fun, and hopefully, like Grant said, it turns out to be an iconic postseason. Regardless of who wins and who does what, it's going to be fun to watch. So go watch some basketball when it's on. It's going to be a lot of fun. Thank you guys for coming on. I really appreciate it. This is probably one of the best episodes we've ever done, just in terms of the quality of talk about the sports. So thank you guys for coming on, and thank you everyone for watching. If you're still here, thank you. Drop a comment down below, drop a like on the video, subscribe, and thank you for watching. And I'll see you next time.